Well, hello again, Pride fans. Dan Savarino, Joe Mihalich, the head coach of the Hofstra Pride men's basketball team, here inside another edition of the WB Mason Coaches Report. Pride 2 games this past week. They now sit second place, well, tied for second place in the conference at 4-2. First, you go up to Northeastern last Wednesday, and then a home game against UNC Wilmington. Both losses. I know you're not too happy about it, but what can you take away from those two?
Well, Northeastern game, we just didn't defend. Not to take anything away from them, they're a hard team to defend. They've got a lot of weapons, good team balance. They have a really hard guy to guard in Etherton, who's like a front court guy who can dribble, drive, and shoot a little bit. So, very difficult guy to guard. But we just didn't guard. We just didn't defend. We scored 83 points. When you score 83 points, you should win. So it really comes down to that, not to oversimplify, but we didn't defend like we needed to defend if we want to be a winning team.
Well, then against UNC Wilmington, you had a chance in that game. You were up for the majority of it, and then it just really came down to a couple plays towards the end. You had the chance to tie it up on some shots, to give yourself some opportunities, but things just really never ended up working out. I know you said it wasn't the best game you guys played all year. What wasn't good about it?
Well, it wasn't, I thought our effort could have been better at both ends of the floor. You can control your effort. You can't control the weather, but you can a lot of other things. But a bad bounce here or there. But you certainly can control your effort. And I just thought it wasn't as good as it needs to be. So we addressed that yesterday in practice and had a pretty spirited practice.
When you look at the foul trouble for the last couple of games, it's always been usually just the bigs. Now it seems like it's going to a little bit of everybody. How is that hurting the team mentally, and how do you jump out of that?
Well, you foul when you're out of position, when you don't anticipate, when you come out of your stance, for example. I mean, so fouling is kind of can be a careless thing. You got to be, you want to be aggressive, and if you're fouling because you're aggressive, that's great. That's not great, but it's going to happen. But when you foul because you, as I said, come out of your stance, or you're out of position, or you're not anticipating what could happen, then that's something that you got to correct.
Well, some positives you get to look at on Saturday. Malik Nichols had a very strong first half. Didn't play as much in the second because you like to switch things up a little bit depending on the defense. But what did you like from Malik in that first half?
Well, Malik's got to be a high energy guy to be good, and he was on Saturday. He has to be that scrappy, high energy defensive guy, high energy rebounding kind of guy. And when he does those things, he can really help us.
Well, when you get back on the home court, obviously a long time away, road games are tough. There's a reason why you guys are one of the best in the nation, at least in road wins. But what does it mean, and what do you do differently when you're on a home court?
The danger of we've had some success on away, obviously. The danger about coming home is that everybody from even your teammates or your whatever, your girlfriend, your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad say, "Oh, you're home now." And you can really, that psychological, take a deep breath and almost let up a little bit, for lack of a better word or phrase. And you gotta be careful with that, because it's not magic. Just because you're home, it's not magic. I mean, you gotta play hard. You gotta be the same team. And if you play as hard as you do, if you play as inspired as you do on the road, then you'll be good at home too. But if you think being at home is some sort of cure-all, it's not.
Well, one person who didn't really have his best game on Saturday was Wanye Green. He's the guy who really obviously is the leader of this team and somebody that you always have to look to for almost every single moment. But still, with him, and he doesn't get those points on the board as early, he wasn't hitting his shots as much. How do you tell a player like that to be able to just shake it off and be able to get to the next one?
Well, I mean, it's what the really good players do, and he normally does that. And you're not, these guys aren't machines. I mean, you don't just snap your fingers and be a great player every day. You're going to have some tough stretches, miss some shots, have a bad game, have a bad half. It's how you deal with adversity. And, it's not just Wanye Green, it was 12 guys. I don't know who played good. You mentioned Malik, he had a good first half, but in general, there was a lot of guys who just didn't have their fastball on Saturday, and everybody needs to handle it better.
Well, playing fast, playing slow, you've been able to do a little bit of both. How have you seen the adjustment of this team when they play fast? Do you think they play better when they play fast?
I think we've proved we can do both. We've proved we can be good when we're fast. We've proved that if we have to win in a slow-paced game, we can do that too.
Well, it's upcoming week. You have Drexel, and then, of course, this weekend you have JMU finally, when all the students are going to be back, obviously, in the student section. So hopefully the place will be, obviously, a very good atmosphere going on Saturday. But this Wednesday, another tough game. Drexel, who is a very good defensive team. They play hard. What do you expect from Bruiser Flynn's squad?
Well, as we talked off the air, I mean, it's the names have changed, but Bruiser's been there a long time, and his teams are always very well coached. They're very physical. They're stingy defensively. It's going to be tough to score, and they play a slow-paced game. So those are going to be the challenges against Drexel.
Well, Damian Lee obviously is their leading scorer, averaging close to 20 points per game. Somebody who's been dealing with injuries for a couple of years. He's 2 years eligibility left, including this year. What does he bring to the lineup?
Well, he's their star. You already said it. He's the guy that can get 20. He's averaging 20. When you average 20, it means you're a threat to get 30. So he's that guy that can get 30 on any given night, and he can score a lot of different ways. And he's certainly one of the keys to our if we can be successful. One of the keys is to try to keep him under control.
Well, I look back for first place. It's Wednesday against Drexel, and then it's upcoming Saturday against James Madison. Catch all the action, of course, in the Hofstra Pride Sports Network. Game schedule and more information. Click right there on GoHofstra.com. He's Joe Mihalich. I'm Dan Savarino. We'll catch you next week, Pride fans.